Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Twin Peaks Season 2, Episode 16. It's called The Condemned Woman. Full spoilers for the episode. It's always... We're past 15. 15 was a dark time. 15 was a dire time in the history of the human race. I do not want to talk about it.
I would quite like to forget about its existence, if that's okay.
This was obviously a step up. I don't think we were completely out of the woods. This feels like a transitional episode. It feels like, because the episode ended with all these things that I like, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there was some stuff that's like, oh, I really like this. This is good.
And there was some things throughout that I liked, but there was also like James talking to Donna. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to be in court for Evelyn. Don't mention Evelyn. Shut up, James.
Can we start with James?
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Is he just pissing off out the show now?
Feels like it.
So her whole thing was like, hey, you go away and get some stories, right, about, your life. Go and live away from all this. I really hope that when he comes back in the new show, this is it. He's only just coming back now. He's like, sorry, I got a whole family and I did all this stuff.
I got sidetracked when I was away, yeah.
He brings back his new family or something.
We joke this. He's probably back in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I know. But I kind of want that to be the case. Just for the fun of
their
it.
scene was definitely one of the low points of this episode, though. Their picnic love scene, where all they did was say really cheesy things to each other that didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Pretty much.
I don't want you to be... You can be sorry for yourself, but don't be sorry for me, James. And it just, like... I don't know, like... I feel like these two characters have really get the worst of, like, the main plot been over. Since Laura's not been a factor, these two have had nothing worthwhile remotely.
Yeah, it feels like, well, we've got to keep them around because they're main characters, but we have no idea what to do with them.
Yeah, because their entire purpose was that it was Laura's ex-boyfriend and it was Laura's best friend. This was their thing, and they bonded with Laura gone, and they worked to try and solve her murder. That was their thing, and now it's just... I don't know what. At least Donna looks like she's going to be in a plot that's relevant next.
Yeah,
James
so they found something for her. James can go, well, just forget it. Just piss off. Get out of the show.
Yeah, because Shelley, Audrey and Donna all get these notes, like different parts of this letter, then an actual invitation note to come to the bar, the Roadhouse, at 9 o'clock. And Joe was funny about this scene, so they all show up, right? And I was like, wait, has Shelley ever been in a scene with these two before? Like, obviously Audrey and Donna have had scenes together repeatedly. But I'm like, I don't think Shelley's ever seen Shelley speak to these people.
I think there might have been some scenes just in the diner.
Okay, mate, yeah, okay, I can see that, yeah, maybe. But I've never seen them, like... Okay, Shelley was working there as a waitress and she maybe talked to them, but I feel like I've never seen them.
No, I don't recall anything either specific. Which is what I'm saying. If it has, it's probably just in the diner in passing. But
it was when Donna came in and Shelley's like, "Oh, hey, Donna," and they start talking about why they're both there. I'm like, "Have you spoke to each other before? Like, are you friends? This is weird."
yeah,
And then Audrey walked in and it became a thing. Oh dear. Yeah. So all the young women are all potential victims now of Wyndham Earl.
as we learned last episode.
We learned last episode. This was kind of the acting out. Obviously, they're not actually in trouble yet. We know he's there. He's been all creepy, watching them like a creepy old man. But that kind of chugged along, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing was wrong with any of that stuff. Much like I didn't know David Duchovny was in this show. I also didn't know Billy Zane was in this show, and he just popped up in this episode.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Billy Zane? Did you know who that was when he popped up? Yeah. So he pops up, and all I can think, the Phantom, is all I can see, because he's Billy Zane. But yeah, so he's like an old friend of Ben's, and he seems to have a little attraction with Audrey. And I love that Audrey brings up, "Oh, I'm only 18, by the way," and I'm like, your entire thing with Cooper was you trying to convince him, by the way, I'm 18, it's okay, I'm 18. We can do this. That was her entire thing, and I get from a character perspective, is she's resistant
into one
to
of
this.
them.
Yeah. And but that said, though, when she first seen him, it was like a weird attraction. Like she kind of stumbled a little bit, and but it's okay. What was funny about Ben's plot, though, is that it really is like the entire last like 4 or 5 episodes of his plot could have just not happened.
Oh yeah, like again, this is what we were saying. What was the point to them?
Admittedly, it may be a bit perkier in this than he would have been if it had been right after he, lost the whole thing to Catherine. But this would essentially be what would have happened. He's like, yeah, right. How do we fight this? How do we get this land back? How do we do that? Like, this is what I would have expected Ben to do.
Yeah, this is what it should have been pretty much the whole time, right?
Yeah,
Get him to fight back.
I will say that the biggest laugh I got in the episode might have been when the waiter comes over and is like, "Oh, I need to go." The chef just threatened to stab Jerry just casually and gets up. Just a normal occurrence.
Yeah, it's just used to it.
It really cracked me up. So obviously that flirtation is there, and it seems like it's going to brew a little bit because she has that little moment at the end when he's like, "Oh, I'll see you again later." She kind of opens up a little bit at the end, and I guess she's not with Cooper, so I suppose she has to have a love interest to pursue.
Yeah, and they decided it wasn't going to be Bobby.
Good.
Or Bob, as he's now going by.
Oh, he's an executive assistant now. He has to go by Bob.
Has to. I'm surprised he's not going by Robert.
Oh yeah, they should have done actually.
Should have done.
I'm a Robertson.
Yeah.
How can you keep extending that there? It's like, okay, Bobby, more civil to Bob, more civil to Robert, more civil to Robertson. Is there any more we can go with this? Is there?
Probably not.
But nah, so yeah, that's the thing. He's just kind of there. He's just kind of there helping and being part of the game plan. They're going to use this almost extinct weasel to sort of
as you do
stop the development on the woods, on the forest.
Pretty good plan, actually.
It's an okay plan. How it's going to help when he wants to do it himself later, I don't know, but
yeah,
I guess he's got a plan. He's got
cross that bridge when he comes to it.
Maybe he's going to collect them all and put them in a wee reserve. He's like, yeah, I'm protecting them, and then a little zoo like area, and then knock the rest down. I've got hotels and restaurants and casinos to build, or whatever he's going to do.
Exactly.
But so that was his kind of main thing, and that was all fine. It was enjoyable enough. Audrey's good, and Ben being himself again is enjoyable to see because he was annoying when he was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it didn't have to do anything special. It was just, okay, this is what it should be. Yeah, that's much better.
And I'm not necessarily feeling the Jack plot yet, but at least he's not annoying me. He's not actively, being off-putting. So that's nice. Obviously, we had going back to the Wonderwell plot. Actually, we didn't cover the other side of it, which was obviously Cooper's got that recording from the end of the last episode, and he needs to make his chess game. In fact, the one big sighting of donuts, which was a fantastic plate of them, might I add, was when they had Pete over to help with the chess move, and as it does, and it just kind of plays out. But there's this giant plate of donut, and Cooper's eating a chocolate donut as well, right there as he's talking to him, and it's the whole thing. And I realised that almost every video we do in Twin Peaks, I talk about how much I want a donut after it, but I really do want a donut.
It's hard not to want donuts when it's just like that.
I mean, I've got cookies in the house, but it's just I want a donut.
It's not the same, is it?
I want a donut.
It's just I think for a while I was making sure I had donuts in, and I think I'm going to have to get back to that because this is just
for the final run, for the final little stretch.
Yeah, I'm definitely making sure I've got donuts for the first episode back of the new show. Maybe they won't show up, but I think Lynch will.
They will.
They will. They're a staple of this show.
I think when that first episode comes back to the new season, we will see, like compared to the previous episode, the 25 years of advancement in donut technology.
Prediction here: first episode back, we are going to get cherry pie, we're going to get donuts, and we're going to get coffee.
Yes,
guaranteed.
I will be surprised if we don't get all three of those in the first 5 minutes, quite frankly.
First scene.
The first shot, it'll just open donuts, coffee, and cherry pie, and then the camera will track.
Do you know what the thing is? This sounds stupid, but I wouldn't put it past it, that actually being the first shot.
I know. Oh, God. I could see it. I could see it. I could see it being an owl.
Yeah.
Owl imagery's been popping up because we got all those postcards in the last one, and then there was owls in this one. Owls all over the place. I can see it being an owl
eating a cherry pie. Why not?
I'll often say this, so don't get used to it, but I like the way your mind's thinking.
That is a very rare sentence for you to utter.
Now, okay, so that kind of chugged along, but I'd say the bulk of the screen time in this, and this is why I say it's a transitional episode, because I didn't think the plot in this one was necessarily bad with the Josie stuff, but I certainly didn't love it, and it certainly felt like, well, okay, this is another thing we need to wrap up before we get to the stuff we want to do.
I agree.
And I felt like much like the last one was wrapping up all the Evelyn stuff for the other than James like explaining why he's pissing off. This one was wrapping up. Again, there'll be some fallout maybe next episode, but this is wrapping up that Josie plot. And it all came to a head, which, by the way, started with Josie giving one of the worst on-screen faints I have ever seen.
It was pretty bad.
And Joe was the worst. If you just left it at the shot where she fell out of frame, fine. Just give the sound effect of a thump. Cut to her later. But no, it cut to a shot of her just sort of going onto the floor, gently as possibly.
Yeah. That was really bad. She was just going, that floor looks hard. I don't want to fall on that.
If she's not willing to take the thump, don't do a shot of her hitting the ground. It's that simple.
I agree.
In fact, it's even funnier if you just hear the thump after she falls out of frame. Get a crash mat down, let her fall into that, thump.
Yeah, that's all you need. It works.
Hilarious. It's great. But no, instead I get this... Oh, sorry, I just need to... Oh, right, I'm fainting. I swear I'm fainting. Okay, and... I'm fainted.
Pretty much.
That's what it was like. But no, so the whole time, like, Catherine's trying to be a sly little menace that she is, and she's like putting the idea, like, oh, here's the gun. Oh, you're just going to have to go and speak to Eckert. Here's the gun you could take, without saying it, of course. And Andrew as well is sort of edging her on to go see him, and he even goes and sees Warner to again try and basically they want them to take each other out. They want that to happen, and they're edging both on. And that's kind of like a lot of the setup of the episode. And one thing I did like, I think we've heard it before, but there was some music that was playing in this episode that I quite liked. Every time it came up where the sheriff was worried about Josie being a criminal, there was this little melody that played that I quite liked. It was a nice little...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sort of melancholy, like, oh, I think she's a bitch. Oh, this is a shame, I liked her.
Yeah,
kind of feel to it. But that was nice, and it was obviously... It confirms that she did in fact shoot Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Because she thought it was always going to end this way. And I guess that kind of makes sense that she disappeared immediately after it. Because if you think back, that happened at the end of the finale, and then she was gone. She was missing for like 4 episodes after it. And it makes sense that she fled after that. So it does kind of add up.
Yeah. I have no problems with that.
Yeah. So Cooper goes and he finds that she's shot him, and then Harry comes in as well, and Harry's all emotional.
Weirdness ensues.
And then the weirdness ensues. She drops dead. I thought she was going to shoot herself.
I did too, but then she sort of has this seizure. Yeah,
she sort of... I wonder if she took something. Like, she knew it was the end. Like, she was going to take him out and then...
maybe.
Like, because she probably knew she wasn't going to get away with it. It was kind of, like... Kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But she collapses and Harry goes and holds her. And obviously mixed emotions. He's doing his job. But at the same time, she's collapsed now. So he's all emotional. He's holding her. And then the spotlight comes on, and I'm like, oh, here we go. It's time for
before we get into what it was, you get to that, and immediately it's like, oh yeah, this is more what I expect from weird Twin Peaks. As soon as that spotlight comes on, and it's so noticeably different to the last at the start of the Bad Chunk when it got to the weird stuff there with the major disappearing.
Yeah, it's like. I'm not sure what happened in terms of like the timing of stuff behind the scenes, but I'm wondering if this is when Lynch knew he was coming back for the finale, and he like gave the writers this is what you need to set up for me coming back, kind of thing. Like, I'm wondering if this is like when they started to prep, and that's why it got better, because it started to build towards his stuff, and they knew this, and they knew this writing this chunk that they're getting into.
At the very least, it was better directed. It was more in the style of what I expect from Twin Peaks.
Yeah. So the spotlight comes on, and we see so Bob crawls from behind the bed, and I'm like, oh, Bob's back. Oh, yes. And Bob's like, oh, and I actually had to go back to hear what he said, because I didn't quite make out what he said the first time, but he says, what happened to dead Josie?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait, well, she just died. I mean, what did happen to dead Josie? It's a good question. Then we see the little guy dancing on the bed once again. And the light comes up, and I'm like, what was that getting at? And then just when I think...
one more thing waiting for you.
Yeah, just when I think, okay, that's the weird part. That's the weird part done. We're back to normal. The camera goes over to the handle, the knob, on the drawer, on the chest of drawers at the side of the bed, and we see Josie's face in the handle. And then... It actually goes into this cool effect. It's almost like I would compare it to, if you've ever seen an 8 Million Elm Street, when Freddy Krueger's behind the wall and he's coming out of the wall. It's kind of that effect, but in the wood of this not door, but drawer handle. Yeah. And you see her sort of screaming behind the wood, and that's kind of the shot we end on. A really cool effect, actually. Because it starts off as just like the image like imposed on it, and it's like whatever, but then it does this cool effect when she's in the wood, and it looks quite cool. Now, what I took this to mean, especially given what Bob just said, is that she's went to where he is. She's went to this place. That she's the condemned woman of the title.
Yeah.
And she, for whatever she's done, she's now in this place, this other place, which is why Bob reappeared, because he's like, oh, she's come to me. She's in my world now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's how I read it. But I notably got really excited. I sat up when I seen him, but I was like, oh, Bob. All right, okay.
Yeah. And I love that, like we say, that the spotlight went off and then you think it's over and then it pulls out to the trick. It's using those expectations cleverly because it knows what we think of with the spotlight and we associate that with the otherworldly stuff. So it comes in, it goes away, we're like, okay, we're done. And then it throws one extra thing. It's like, it comes out of nowhere almost, and it's really clever.
Yeah. So I am, I mean, I think overall it was kind of it was an okay episode overall because there was still all this wrap up. And I as much as some of this Josie stuff was okay, a lot of it did feel like, okay, this is just kind of the soap opera plot of, because see, Joe bit got to me. It was when Catherine came in, before she takes the book away to show what the gun is. She says something like, oh, well, he's going to find out you're alive, Eckert. You're going to have to go see him. And like Josie gets so emotional because and I think it was almost like the character was realising just how convoluted our situation was. That there was so many like different people from different places wanting to like either control her, kill her, abuse her. Yeah. And it was so convoluted, and it was like the character was realising it herself, and that's why she was so frantic and worried.
It's why I think taking her out of the picture is such a smart move, because it just cleans it all up. It's like, we don't need to worry about this.
Absolutely. And Eckert's done. He's dead.
Yeah.
Andrew Packer's still around. I can wrap that up quickly. Go away.
Yeah. That one doesn't bother me as much.
He's a good actor, though. I've seen him in other stuff, so maybe like if you have him fighting Ben now, if he comes out as alive, if they actually make it public.
Yeah, like how can he claim?
Yeah. So that could work. Yeah. So obviously the one thing we've not spoken about yet is Ed, Norma, and their related plots. So Nadine asked Ed to break up, and it's like she's acting as if he's upset, but he's like, I almost expected a grin to appear on his face, because he
just has that perfect look of bewilderment.
Yeah, which to be fair, he has a lot when she's in the room, and quite right.
Yeah, she comes in and it's like, oh, me and Mike, we're madly in love, and he's like, what's going on? Just
says, oh, we had this magical night, and actually, here's one problem I have with this, is that every time I've seen Mike with her, he's been like against it. And I guess he did have that moment when she kissed him in the diner where he kind of didn't just repel in horror afterwards, but it didn't really feel like enough to tell me that he was now interested. So every time she said,
I wasn't under the impression that he was. I was still under the impression that this was still her overly projecting.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not sure now, though, because she's like, oh, we had this magical night, and I'm like, oh, so they actually did stuff, and
maybe I was just thinking that was just her.
I guess, but I wasn't sure. This is the thing, because I feel like now that they're actually breaking up, and because we're not seeing him, I almost expect that it is just what it is, so we can move on with like Ed and Norma. Maybe. It's weird.
It's strange.
The one thing I did like about that scene though is she says, "Oh yeah, me and Mike had this magical night." He's like, "What you?" And he was like, "You had sex, especially," and she's like, "Well, you did with Norma," and he's like, "That's fair." I like his reaction to that. It was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, admittedly, she had sex with that kid who's still in high school, so I mean, technically, it's not equal. But
she thinks she is a kid still in high school.
Okay, sure. I'm saying it's not. It's not apples to apples, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Admittedly, she's also thinks she's in high school and she has super strength, so it's more like apples to buses, if anything. But
exactly.
But still, it's a point. I tell you what scene I did really like though. So Ed comes into the diner and like proposes to Norma, and they have this scene. I actually really like the look that Shelley gives, and she's like, oh, and she's
like, better leave him to it.
Yeah, but she's got just that cheeky look in her face as she's looking at the scene. But Norma goes to see Hank, and we've seen Hank in a scene with the sheriff, and he tries to like, I've got information. Maybe you could not put me in prison. We'll make a deal. And Hawk kicks his crutch away when he starts getting a little bit too mouthy.
Classic Hawk.
Pretty funny. Classic Hawk. Yeah. But so Norma goes to see Hank in the jail cell, and she's like, "Look, I want a divorce. Enough of this." And Hank starts doing his routine where he's like, oh, I understand, I want to be better, and blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, yeah, I need you to do one more thing for me. I need you to help me. I need you to say where I was the night that Leo got shot, and blah, 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 blah. What do you expect me to say? And I was a little bit worried at this point in the scene, because I thought, she's going to feel obligated to at least help him before she gets the divorce. And it's going to lead to a sort of, a drama plot about her being conflicted and him making it conflicting and him butting his head in. So I was delighted when she's like, no more lies. I need to go on with my life. Shut up. And then he gets...
she's like, I don't want to be your whore anymore.
Yeah. No, he calls her the whore. She says, you're his whore. She's like, I'd rather be his whore than your wife.
That's it, yeah.
But I like it because he gets sinister at one point. He grabs her. He's like, he finally drops the facade of being like trying to care husband. He's like, no, he goes proper who he is. He sort of reveals his true character. And he's like, no, I'll give you a divorce only if you do this for me. It gets proper. And again, I was delighted that she's like, piss off. This is not a negotiation. I'm leaving. Bye. Yeah. And it almost feels like, oh yeah, we're done with that plot now too.
It kind of does, doesn't it? This did that a lot this episode, and for the better for most of them.
I think so. I think this episode wasn't amazing, but it ended a lot of things that was like, okay, right, we can get to start. We have a lot of fresh stuff we can do next episode now. We can focus on.
Yeah, it really felt like, look, this stuff's not working. Yeah. Let's just throw it out.
Yeah. So the next episode we can focus on the Wyndham Earl stuff, and maybe we have a couple of new things that maybe they want to do or whatever. But either way, it feels like we've definitely jettisoned a lot of the plot that's taking up a lot of this rough section.
Yeah. Do you know what I need from the next episode that I feel like it's been a couple without any of?
Donuts.
Some nice, no, well, that too, but some nice Andy Lucy moments.
Yeah, it was a little bit Lucy. We heard her over the comms, but yeah, not actually. Actually, there was one positive from the last episode I forgot to mention. I need to bring it up. It was Albert doing an impression of David Lynch as Gordon.
Oh, that was good.
That was really good because he says, or as he put it, "You gotta help Coop," and it does look the voice like really loud, like he does, and it sounded exactly like him. It made me laugh so much. So one positive for episode 15.
To be fair, we did praise all the Albert stuff in. We put a blanket statement on Albert,
but I didn't specifically mention that impression, and I feel like it was so good that it's worth pointing out. I want to point it out. So
sad that's the high point of an episode, though, isn't it?
It is. It is really sad that's the high point. But hey, we're in brighter days, so. We're getting to the better section of the latter half of season 2 with the next episode.
We're racing towards the end now.
Yeah, we have 3 more weeks of the old show, of the old seasons. And of course the movie as well, which we all do after we finish season 2. So we're all ready and good for... And the plan is to have the movie up a full week before the new show starts. So we've got a week to let it sit and reflect on it, and we can almost emulate. Because for us, a full week before the new episode starts... in comparison to the usual few days between episodes, is like our 27 years. That's the plan.
It's close enough. 1 week, 30-odd years. Yeah, I think that's kind of equal, right? No one can complain about that. They can't say we haven't waited. We did our time.
Oh dear. So yeah, that was episode 16. So yeah, okay, it still had some issues, but I felt quite positive because it ended a lot of the stuff that we can get rid of now. So
and then it gave us some cool stuff at the end going forward.
It gave us some cool stuff at the end. So, so hopefully next week we have Wyndham Earl plot and whatever else they want to throw at us.
Yeah, hopefully just more positivity in general.
Yeah. So there you go. That's this episode of Twin Peaks. Thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter, mail_for us for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen. And that's us. So thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.